Hi, I'm Lex Swanson, and this is my informational speech. Do you know what's under your hood? An engine, of course, but do you know how that engine works? Well, today I'm going to talk to you about basic types of engines, the history of engines, and how the modern engine works and different components on the engine. First, let's talk about the types. The four-stroke. You have a four-stroke engine in most cars today. There, I'll be showing you how it works with this model. First, let's look at this first piston right here. The piston starts at top dead center, at the very top of the piston, and it starts by going down. That's stroke number 1. That is the intake stroke where it takes in fuel and air. It goes back up. This is the compression stroke. This helps provide the more explosions when it ignites. You will then go down for stroke number 3, where this is right after you have the spark plug ignite the fuel and air mixture. That's the power stroke. You'll then come back up, pushing out the burnt fuel and air through the exhaust valve, and that's stroke number 4, the exhaust. Next, let's talk about two-stroke engines. These, instead of having 4, have 2, of course. The piston starts down here at the very bottom. You have fuel and air come in from the side, and it will come up, compressing, and that will be stroke number 1. That is the intake and the compression all into one. They will be ignited by a spark plug, come down, and that will be the power stroke, and the exhaust will come all out. So you have the exhaust and the power stroke all into one again. So you have 2 strokes total. Diesel engines. Diesel engines are identical in the fact that, similar to 4-stroke and 2-stroke, they can be in both conversions. They are similar because they have all strokes, but they're different because then instead of having a spark plug, they are self-ignited by compression. When they get so compressed, they explode, powering the engine. Wankel engines. Wankel engines are a 4-stroke engine, just a different design than the up and down piston movement. What you have is a rotary here, and you have the triangle piece here. This is what would be like the piston. You have the intake coming in, it goes in, and it gets compressed by the triangle deal here. Then you have the power stroke where it gets ignited down here. It brings it back up, and letting out the exhaust, and it starts all over. So you have 4 strokes. Next, let's talk about history. History of the 4-stroke engine is that it was invented by a man named Otto in 1876. And I got this from www.carbible.com. The 2-stroke was invented by a British man named Sir Douglas Clark. This was invented in 1878, 2 years after the 4-stroke engine. I got this information from www.britannica.com. The diesel engine had a bit more of a complicated history than the last 2, and the fact that Rudolf Diesel started the invention in the later 1800s by inventing a fuel that when it gets compressed so much it explodes. And he kept trying to work with other scientists in getting a mass-produced engine, but later had a nervous breakdown and was unable to finish. And then the patent expired in 1920, where other engineers and scientists were able to take up the project and create a mass-produced engine. Wankel engine, the rotary engine here, was invented by Felix Wankel in 1902, and I got this information from www.history.com. I got the diesel information from www.dieselnet.com. Now let's talk about the basic workings of an engine. You have let's use this V8. You have your intake here where the air comes in, but use like a fuel injected, you'll have the fuel directly injected into the cylinders. You have the valves up here, where they will move up and down with the exhaust and the intake depending on the different types of, depending on the stroke this motor is on. The serpentine belt keeps the timing in check, so that way you don't get messed up. The spark plugs fire at the right time, and you have the perfect engine. Over here, we'd have the spark plug wires. Now that you know how your engine works, I hope you can appreciate your car a little more.